Hi everybody, it's Az here from Heel vs Babyface. Very excited Az from Heel vs Babyface as I've just finished watching the World of Warcraft panel from BlizzCon discuss the brand new expansion. So please forgive me if my throat is a little bit hoarse. I've done a lot of talking over the course of my live stream, which attracted over 1,400 people. It was absolutely bonkers. So thank you ever so much indeed for everybody that turned up. And if you're new here to my YouTube channel, welcome and thanks for joining us. So the new World of Warcraft expansion was announced as predicted, and it did turn out to be Warlords of Draenor. And yes, I know I said it sounds like a toilet cleaner, but now that's a thing of the past, because what they went through on the panel, I've got to say, my excitement with the World of Warcraft came flooding back. I reminisced a little bit earlier and over the course of my previous streams of when I started playing in the Burning Crusade back in March 2007. When I saw the announcement for Wrath of the Lich King, I was giddy and excited. And then when I saw the announcement for Cataclysm and what they were doing with Azeroth, I was bursting at the seams with joy. And then Mr. Pandare came along, and I was like, what the hell is this shit? But you know, that was all now forgotten about, because when I saw the announcement for Warlords of Draenor, I was just giddy as a schoolgirl. It was absolutely fantastic. The informations that they gave us, which I'm going to go through now with you, just filled my heart with joy. They seem to be trying desperately hard to get back on the right track, and I am very excited to see where this expansion goes. So we already know it's called Warlords of Draenor, but where is it going? Where's it set? It's going to be set back in time. Now, I called on yesterday's WoW video that we were going to go to various other fragments of Outland, of what used to be Draenor, which of course we had the bigger fragment, which was Outland, and then we had the smaller fragments scattered around. That's not going to be the case. Instead, we are going back in time to a reconstructed Draenor before it was torn asunder by Gul'dan, of course, opening up all the portals, which ripped it absolutely to pieces. So this is a Draenor from back in time, and we're going to come across some of the big names in the World of Warcraft as Garrosh Hellscream, spoiler incoming, goes back in time after escaping from the Pandaren before the verdict on his trial, and he tries to unite the Horde clans, the Orc clans on Draenor, and form what's called the Iron Horde. Now this involves his father, this involves Thrall's father, because they are alive and they are on Draenor at the time, plus other fan favourites like Gul'dan, who's all going to be part of this expansion. What he does is he prevents them from drinking the blood of Manoroth, and that's what Gul'dan, I believe, made the deal with Manoroth, and that's what gave the orcs their bloodlust. That's what made them be unable to control their feral instincts and just go absolutely batshit crazy. That's a good technical way of putting it, I think. And these are normal orcs. These are the shamanistic orcs that we've known, and I don't know if we've loved. It depends on which side of the Horde Alliance coin you're from, but either or, these orcs are not driven by bloodlust. They are simply driven by strong leadership. And does that make them more of a threat? Well, who knows? We're going to find out when it comes across the next expansion. So we're going to be on Draenor. Draenor before it was ripped apart. So the areas that have been decimated are now back to how they used to be. It's kind of like Cataclysm, but on Outland. You could technically class it as Outland 2.0, but I think that would do Blizz a wee bit of disservice. So where we had existing zones like Hellfire Peninsula, Shadowmoon Valley, places like that, we now have the zones which existed there before them. So where Hellfire Peninsula used to be, we've now got Tanaan Jungle. Shadowmoon Valley is still Shadowmoon's Valley, but it's not corrupted by all the fell energies which have come down, and the Black Temple is not there. The Black Temple is still part of the Draenor, and it's still part of their worship, and we've actually got to prevent it from being destroyed. And also that would of course lead into Illidan and the Burning Legion and all that kind of stuff, corrupting it and whatnot. Taroka Forest becomes the Spires of Arak. Then we have Talador, which is where Shatrath is situated. We have Nagran, that remains the same. But we've got new zones as well, like Frostfire Ridge and Gorgrond. These are areas which haven't been there before. And we've also got a couple of peninsulas, areas outside of these continents, which have yet got names. But I will tell you for now that where Tannan Jungle is, just to the northeast of that, we see that small island there. That is going to be the new PvP zone. Kind of like Wintergrasp, kind of like Tol Barad, but Blizzard have actually touted it as a sort of return to how Alterac Valley used to be back in vanilla. So it's not just going to be generic PvP, there's going to be questing to be done there, there's going to be missions to achieve, and all these kind of shenanigans that you can do to try and turn the tide in your faction's favour. And they're also classing it as a sandbox area, so they've got all that kind of motion in progress with it. Who knows where that could end up going, but it does sound really, really intriguing, and it is nice to see a PvP zone been brought back. But we need to get to the nooks and the crannies of it. The dungeons, the raids, all that kind of good stuff. Well, I'm going to start with the bad news first of all. They didn't announce a new class. And probably a little bit more disappointingly, they didn't announce any new races either. So far, no new races, no new class. Now, yesterday in my video, I called no new class, but I did think there would be new races. So I kind of got it half right, half wrong. Depends, glass half full, half empty, which one you say. But it was quite a shock, certainly on the race front, that we don't get any more. There are going to be 7 major zones, which I've just gone through on the island. There's going to be 2 raids on release, consisting of 16 bosses between them. So that's an average of 8 bosses a raid. And they've also said there will be fierce. We don't quite understand what Blizzard's idea of fierce is, because let's face it, Mr. Pandaria has been about as fierce as a box full of cute kittens. But they've said there will also be some fierce world bosses as well. Now, there's going to be 7 dungeons on launch, and I hope to dear God they add to that, because that number worries me slightly. Mr. Pandaria released with 9 dungeons and they never added any more, and it got strained. It felt the strain because our item levels increased so quickly. Those dungeons became obsolete in no time. And if you have followed me on YouTube and you have followed me on my live streams, I've actually soloed every single heroic Mr. Pandaria dungeon at the moment, which is not good. But they have announced 7 new dungeons on launch, one of them being the classic upgrade to the heroic version of UBRS, which is very nice indeed. I'll be quite happy to see that get a level 100 overhaul. Yes, we're going up 10 levels. I called it. Yay, I'm such a big guy and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, but I called it. I couldn't see how on earth they could take us from 90 to 95. It just didn't make any logical sense. Thank God logic has won the day, because we'll be going from level 90 through to level 100. But going back to the dungeons, they have said that there will be 4 leveling up dungeons and 3, it could be the other way around, do apologise if it is, 3 end game dungeons at launch. So I think we absolutely need more dungeons to come in over the course of new patches to the expansion. They have announced there will be new scenarios, but they didn't go into anything further than that. I hope the fewer, the better. I don't think it's good content, Blizzard. I really do think it's development time, which could be funneled in a lot better areas. Raiding is getting streamlined significantly as well. We've currently got 6 forms of raiding. We have looking for raid, we have flexible raiding, we have normal 10 and normal 25, and then we've got heroic 10 and heroic 25. It's getting streamlined to looking for raid, normal, heroic, and mythic raiding. And they all seem to benefit from this flexible raiding platform. LFR is now going to be flexi based. If you get people that drop out, you can carry on. It's going to scale down to the number of people that you have. The same seems to be for normal raiding as return to heroic raiding. I think that's a set number. I'll have to absolutely confirm that. But mythic raiding seems to have a set number of 20 people. So I think heroic, normal, and LFR kind of all benefit from the flexi platform that we know now, that you can go between 10 to 25 people, depending on who drops out in certain areas. And mythic seems to be stuck at 20 people. So I don't know what it's going to mean to, you know, heroic raiders like Method and stuff who run at 25s. That's going to be quite intriguing to see what they say about things like that. There's going to be new character models. I called it, yeah. Okay, I called it, and I absolutely called it. But they didn't say whether they were all going to come out on launch. But they do have 3 of them available for us to look at. They're all male. They haven't got the female versions. And they are upgrading 8 of the races. They're upgrading the orcs, the humans, the gnomes, the night elves, the trolls and dwarves. You know, the basic ones. Put it this way, they're not doing any upgrades from Burning Crusade onwards. So Belfs, Draenor, not getting touched. Worgens, gnomes, goblins, sorry, not getting touched. And pandas, I wish they would touch them with a sword to the head, but they won't. But pandas, no, pandas are staying as they are as well, because of course they're the more up-to-date versions anyway. They are available to look at, as you can see from the various pictures, which I've posted up in this video as well. The biggest news for me was the addition of something called Garrisons. And I'm not talking Mr. Garrison from South Park. I am talking build your own base, which seems to be on Draenor only. It was unclear in the panel whether or not you could go to other areas, but it seems to be on Draenor only. You can build yourself up a garrison, and this is a World of Warcraft housing type of thing. And the reason why I say type of thing is it seems to be a lot more than just regular housing. You can build multiple buildings in the area. There is a tab, and you can physically decide which buildings you want to build. Do you want to build an infirmary? Do you want to build stables, blacksmith, inn, mage tower, yada yada yada. You place them exactly where you want them. There are 10 different areas that you can place things in. So if you want your mage tower at the front to make your garrison look imposing, then you can do that. If you want it at the back to make it kind of look more aesthetically pleasing, possibly, you can do that. You can choose exactly where these areas go. You can also upgrade them up to 3 times as well, by the looks of it. You can start off with a regular building, upgrade it to a bigger building, and then it ends up being an almighty kind of building. But not only that, you can actually gain followers in your garrison, and these are going to be NPCs. If you've got an inn in your garrison, then you're going to attract NPCs to come and drinking it. You can go inside and you can recruit them to your garrison. When you recruit them, you can assign them either tank, healer, DPS. You can stick some gear on them, you can stick abilities on them, and then you can send them out to do missions for you. It sounds absolutely incredible. Who knows what they're going to come back with, but they could come back with some good stuff. They might come back with crap. Who knows? But we're going to find out a little later on when we start to get more information. Also, depending on what you build within your garrison, could give you limited, and the word there is limited, limited access to professions that you don't possess. I'm fortunate enough to have alts that have got all the professions up to max, but you might not, and you might want access to some of them. Let's say you're a warrior and you have mining and engineering, but really you want to have some access to blacksmithing. Well, you've got a blacksmith in your garrison, then it's going to give you limited access to blacksmithing. And who knows what limited access that may be. It could be limited, but it still might give you access to exactly what you want, because you will be able to craft epic gear within your garrison as well. Now, some people might deem this to be potentially antisocial. I don't. To me, it's actually the reverse of that, because you're in a guild and you raid, for instance, 3 times a week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7 till 10 o'clock. Something nice and simple like that. What do you do, though, when you're not raiding with your guild? Do you queue up, do some dungeons, do some scenarios, grind for some valor, do some PvP, just sit around the main city doing all? Well, now you've got something to get your hands on. You can go and start to build up your garrison. You're still in your guild. You can still communicate with your guildies, but you don't have to be sitting around doing nothing. You can be like, right, hi guys, oh my god, I've got this. My guys have gone out. Oh my goodness, my tank's come back dead. I've had to stick him in the infirmary and get the healers on him. You just don't know what's going to happen, but it could actually lead to some very interesting cooperation or interaction at the very least with other people. Who's to say that friends can't build garrisons next to each other? Have them aesthetically different, have them aesthetically similar. Guilds might be able to do the same. Who knows? It leads to multiple different ideas. And from the looks of the size of the garrison as well, it looks like these things are about the size of God's Lions Landing, something like that, Domination Point. They seem to be on a pretty substantial scale. So it's something that really, really piqued my interest as well. Also, you're going to be able to boost one of your characters immediately up to level 90. And it can be an existing character, or it can be a character which you've decided to create from scratch. Let's say you've got a warrior and a warlock. You've got the W's. And you want, though, to play a monk. Oh, what a bad choice. No, I'm only kidding. Right, you want to play a monk, but you don't have a monk. What you can do is create a monk, level 1, boom! Immediately, you can zap it up to level 90, and then you can take that monk straight into Warlords of Draenor, coming on the existing content without having to fanny around with all the leveling up, so it really puts you in the picture. Now, I'm lucky enough to have 7 or 8 level 90s, but as far as I'm aware, I don't have a level 90 monk, I don't have a level 90 druid or shaman, so I need 3 at level 90. Druids have always interested me, but I've never got round to actually leveling one up. To me, Warlords of Draenor comes out, I'm just going to get, boom, an immediate level 90 druid. No fanning around. There it is. Bingo. Ready to play. Very exciting, and it also gives you a new class to play with. So if you have just been set to certain classes, this gives you the opportunity to try something different and try something new within the next expansion. They've also done some significant tweaks to the inventory system. This is going to get people ecstatic. Your heirloom items, your toys, your tabards, they are all becoming bind on account and going in tabs. They are being removed from the inventory and being given in the tabs, so you've got immediate access. Doesn't matter what zone, what flipping realm that you're on. All you have to do is open your tab and you've got access to them. Amen. How many times do you get a good toy in a character and then you play with an alt and you don't have it and you want to have it and then you got to go off and it just fills in the slots? Oh, it's a freaking nightmare. But now with this new system, not only does it free up a lot of space in your bags, and God knows we've desperately wanted them to be freed up, but you can have them across every single character without having to repeat the quest over and over and over, or grind and grind and grind and grind and grind to try and get that item as well. It's pretty darn cool. Yes, we're also going to get a larger stack size as well. So most things stack to 20. That's going to go up. And you can also craft directly from your bank, which is going to be quite nice too. Also, when you open your bags, you can categorize the items inside of them. So you can categorize them by trash, by equipment, and also quest items no longer going to be in your bag. They're just going to be part of the quest hub, and you'll just click onto them if you need to do so, but it won't physically go into your bags, and it won't start to take up any more space. The talent tree will add another talent for level 100, and they gave us a tantalizing little look at the rogue one, but just the name, so I don't want to go into them because who knows what they actually do. But they did show off that there will be level 100 talents now. They're also doing an adventure guide, which I'm kind of like, but I think it's kind of like a beginner's sort of aid more than anything. And it's a guide to help players know what they can and should be working on, what raids you're eligible for, where you can go zone-wise, what quests you've got access to, stuff like that. And it also allows you how you can, it kind of tells you how you can customize your character and various things like that. It's sort of like a window looker's guide to WoW by the sounds of it, but there we go. Now then, PvP wise, the PvP zone, which I mentioned earlier, will be called Ashran, and it's just off the northeast coast of Tannan Forest, which of course is Hellfire Peninsula on Outland. So that's what it used to be. And as I mentioned as well, they've harkened it to something like the original version of Alterac Valley. You can use it cross-zone as well to create faction balance. So if you're in like a server like mine, Silver Moon, which is heavy on the Alliance side, very short on the Horde, we would just dominate them all day long. But because it's cross-zone, it doesn't matter. It will make sure that there is a balance of Horde and Alliance in this area, and at least give everyone the opportunity to carry out the objectives, etc. There'll be like things to do with flags, capture statuses. So on the maps, when you're doing Battlegrounds now, if you click onto the map, you'll be able to see in motion a flag being captured, turning into the Horde, turning into the Alliance. And also, when you do it yourself, you'll see the flag filling up with your faction's colour until it's absolutely complete. I don't know if this is absolutely necessary, but I'm sure some people will kind of get into that. There will also be a new reward system for PvPers too. Yes, you'll still get your honour system and you can buy gear for your honour system, but at the end of battlegrounds or arenas, you'll get the random chance to win bonus items. So it could be bonus honour, it could be bonus BOE level gear. So you might be able to get a nice BOE item, stick it on the auction house, make some cash. So if you always feel pressured to go back into PvP to earn money, there is the chance now to do it through PvP. And they mentioned extra honor, extra conquest possibly, and BOE gear, but they said there could be a lot more to that. You might get mounts, you might get pets, who knows what they could possibly add to that. And there's also the Trial of the Gladiator. Now this is the new arena ladder, and it will concentrate on queuing times at certain times during the week, and it will help the higher rated people, not the lower rated, the higher rated people play against others and help to identify exploiters. That's what they hope anyway. That's what they've said. We'll see how that actually goes on. And it will be governed by tournament rules. And then you can buy gear from the vendor, play, no need to grind a set. So you all go in on an equal playing field. So there you go. PvE gear will not work in it at all. You also earn prestige awards from the Trial of the Gladiator 2. So again, they could come in the form of mounts, gear, transmog stuff maybe, who knows. But there's plenty of other stuff with which to go on there. So this is the basic crux of what Warlords of Draenor is going to be about. So far, from what we've seen and heard, which is very little, I've got to confess, there is some very exciting prospects indeed. I really like the idea of boosting up a character so it gives you something different to try. Have fallen in love with the idea of the garrisons. Now, none of this is set in stone. It could all be subject to change, because some things, although with all best intentions from Blizz, may just not work out. But fingers crossed they do, because stuff like the garrison system sounds really, really exciting indeed. It does sound awesome to have your own sort of housing, but not just basic housing, a whole garrison from which you can choose. And as well as having a new world to explore, I've definitely got that giddy feeling back again. So, tell me what you think in the comments below so far. Have you seen the launch video? Check out Blizzard's website for that. They've also got a plethora of information on the next expansion too. But I hope you enjoyed this vid. Please do like, comment and subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook and Twitch. And I shall be back with some more stuff very soon indeed. You take care, everybody. Night night.